Good evening, dear listeners. It's me again, Alexian, your storyteller and wizard, and your good friend. I'm delighted to welcome you to my Library of Wonders. Today, we will journey to sunny Africa to hear a fun and instructive tale about how an elephant learned to dance. Let's take my magical compass, which will guide us into the story. In the distant African savannah, there lived an elephant named Bumba. Bumba was the biggest and strongest elephant around, but he had one dream: to learn how to dance. Every evening, he watched as the animals gathered in a clearing and held joyful dances to the sounds of drums and songs. But Bumba always felt too shy to join in, thinking that his big feet and bulky body weren't suited for dancing. One day, as the sun was setting on the horizon, Bumba decided it was time to pursue his dream. He went to the kind tortoise, who was renowned for her dancing skills, and asked her to teach him how to dance. Bumba shared his doubts with the tortoise and asked if she would teach him. The tortoise, hearing Bumba's request, looked at him thoughtfully and said, "Bumba, do you think I always knew how to dance? Look at me. I'm not the fastest or the most graceful, and I certainly can't teach you." Hearing this, Bumba felt disheartened and was about to leave, but the tortoise continued, "But don't be quick to give up. I can still help you. Once upon a time, long ago when I was young, I too dreamed of dancing. But as you know, we tortoises are slow, like tortoises." The tortoise spoke slowly, as she was indeed a tortoise, and her words came out slowly too. "After many attempts, I learned to listen to the music with my heart, and it helped me move to the rhythm despite my shape and speed. Remember, Bumba, dancing is not just about moving your body, but also about the joy in your heart." Inspired by the tortoise's words, Bumba began to practice. At first, he tried to mimic the movements of other animals, but it looked quite funny and didn't go without some awkward and amusing moments. He tried so hard to imitate the monkey's moves that he accidentally knocked a branch with his trunk, the very branch the monkey was sitting on. The branch fell right onto Bumba's head, and the monkey, as it fell, grabbed onto Bumba's trunk with all its limbs and refused to let go for a while. The lion and zebra couldn't help but laugh when Bumba, trying to make a graceful turn, accidentally stepped on his own tail and nearly fell. In fact, he almost fell right onto the lion and zebra themselves. I think they wouldn't have found it so funny then. In the end, feeling disheartened and embarrassed, Bumba went to the pond, where he sat sadly, looking at his reflection in the water. At that moment, the tortoise slowly swam up to him and said, "Bumba, mistakes can and will happen while you're learning. There's nothing wrong with that. The important thing is not to get upset and to keep trying. Remember, dancing is the joy in your heart." Encouraged by the tortoise's support, Bumba decided to try again. He closed his eyes and let the music guide him. Gradually, his movements became more confident, and his big feet suddenly felt as light as feathers. He twirled and stomped to the rhythm, and soon all the animals stood in awe. Bumba danced in a way no one expected, with joy and grace that came from the heart. When he finished his dance, all the animals rushed to hug and congratulate him, and the monkey grabbed onto his trunk with all its limbs and didn't want to let go. From that day on, Bumba became the star of the dance evenings in the savannah. He taught everyone that the essence of dancing is not just in beautiful movements, but in the genuine pleasure and joy you feel. Soon, other animals began coming to Bumba to learn how to dance. Even the lion and zebra, who used to laugh, now eagerly learned from him, understanding that dancing is not just about movement, but a state of the soul. That's the fun and instructive story of how Bumba the elephant learned to dance. It's time to activate the magical compass and return to the Library of Wonders. Now, dear listeners, I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Why do you think Bumba was able to learn to dance? What helped him overcome his fears and doubts? And what do you think we can learn from Bumba? I eagerly await your responses and impressions. Until next time, dear listeners, in our Library of Wonders.